And we have to deal with them before we can advance, it appears. But I'm going to save in case things go badly wrong for me. A couple of mercenaries. I'm only seeing 2 of them. A small figure stands before some armor-clad soldiers. His arms move wildly as he gestures, in frustration, yelling at the man directly in front of him. Absolutely not. I've come through Iron Hearth Trail more times than I can remember. No one ever asked for a toll before, and I won't be paying one now. Bad move, mister. I have a feeling he's going to end up a little bit dead in a moment. He notices you standing nearby and turns to speak. Hatebinder, surely you, of all people, can help me. My name is Aster, and I must get to Lethian's Crossing. I have goods to deliver. Tell this man I will not be paying a toll to him or anyone, and he is to let me through. He folds his arms over his chest and nods with a pronounced finality. Greetings, Fatebinder. I'm sorry you've been drawn into this. What you stumbled into here is merely a conflict of the changing times. I am Will of the Bronze Brotherhood. Iron Hearth Trail is under our protection, and anyone passing through must obey our rules. If this gentleman would like passage to our land, a simple donation is required. He holds out his hand. These funds help our cause and keep Iron Hall a safe place for all travelers. Clearly you both can see the value in that. Aster speaks, his arms swinging about again, emphasizing his words. Who exactly is keeping it safe? You standing there with your weapons at the ready against me? His arms drop and he turns to you again. I'm not but a traveling merchant. I have no money to spare, and I certainly pose no threat to anyone. This area is safe indeed. You are the only threat here. Fatebinder, please, talk some sense into this man. Seriously? You want us to help you? I see no reason to interfere either way in this. Look, this is just a waste of my time. I'm sorry, this matter is a waste of my time, merchant. You are on your own. Aster's face falls as he reaches out to you. But Fatebinder, you must help me. I will not pay a toll to some brute enforcing a cause that means nothing to me. This is injustice at its most heinous. Will laughs and points south over Aster's shoulder. Whether you care for the cause or not, merchant, you will not be gaining entry today. Now, turn yourself around and head back the way you came before my hammer shows you the error of your ways. Aster turns to leave and glances at you, his lip drawn to a thin line. I will remember your help, Fatebinder. Whatever. I don't care, honestly. Will returns to his position, looks over to you, his former genial mood gone. So, Fatebinder, in our little corner of the world, who'd have ever thought this would happen? He spits between his feet, then crushes it into the dirt with his boot. Well, I appreciate your help dealing with that merchant. I'm afraid I can't let you pass until you have spoken with our leader, Ratokamen. Personally, I thought he was crazy saying you'd be visiting Lethian's Crossing. Looks like I owe him a few rings. He shakes the pouch on his neck, making the rings jingle melodically. Not that there's a shortage of those out here. What can this humble servant of the Brotherhood do for you, Fatebinder? And don't ask me to let you through, because that isn't happening. Barrack, Loyalty 1, this ridiculous piece of mercenary offal requires a lesson in pain and obedience. Allow me to teach him. Well, Barrack, if you think you can get him to move, I see no reason not to do so. Feel free. Sellsword, attend me. I take it your responsibilities have been explained to you. Keep the rabble on this side of the bridge, yes? That does not preclude taking orders from your betters. One of two things will happen. Either you will let us pass, or we will simply pass. There are no other options. Whatever role you have taken upon yourselves to bar our way has already failed. You succeed only in delaying our task, and annoying me. And believe me, Will, you do not want to annoy Barrack. It tends to be rather bad for your health. Because everyone who's done that so far is a little bit dead. Is your name Ratokaman? Are you the leader of the Bronze Brotherhood? And cups his ear to listen. No? I didn't think so, because he decides who crosses and who doesn't. If you have a problem with that, take it up with him. Ashe, forgive me, but I can only endure so much of this fool's inane jabbering. A blur of rusted metal precedes a deafening crunch as Barrack backhands the mercenary, leaving a significant mark behind. Get him, Barrack. I'm not fond of this guy anyways. Will rubs his cheek. Hold on, I'm just doing my job. I apologize if I offended. Ratokaman will have my head if I let you through. There's nothing I can do about it. While you're talking to Will, a striking man with a shock of bright blonde hair approaches, moving away from some men searching bodies of slain soldiers to the south. He watches you intently as he closes, his angular features pulling into a look of disdain. And here's the Fatebinder. He doesn't mask the displeasure in his voice. I knew we'd see you. I was just wondering when. One trip to Lethian's Crossing wasn't enough, Governor. Doesn't even mask the contempt in his voice. You had to return where no one asked you to come. Throwing me out of my home wasn't sufficient. Are you here to disrupt my life some more? Looks at his men who stopped to watch the conversation. You aren't done? He flicks his hand at them and they return to their searching. Doesn't really matter why you're here. I don't care. I have more important things to worry about. Has he forgotten me already? My name is Ratoman. I am First Brother, leader of the Bronze Brotherhood. And you're apparently an asshole, too. You couldn't even keep control of your own settlement. Jeez. I'm sure you already know that. I couldn't help but see you over here talking to Will and that traveling merchant. Only here for a moment, and already sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, aren't you? I don't appreciate others invading my territory, Fatebinder. I told him he had to speak to you, Ratoman. He wanted through, but I told him no. If you don't give the signal, the Fatebinder isn't getting into Lethian's Crossing. No one will invade your territory. Ratoman stares at Will for a few moments, lips pursed, then continues as if Will never spoke. Watch yourself while you're a guest in my land. If you've come to stir up more trouble, we are well equipped and will not back down in defense of what is rightfully ours. He sweeps his arm in front of him, gesturing to the surrounding countryside. Well, B and I might not always agree, but that is one point we see eye to eye on. If you step out of line, we will both correct you. His eyes narrow and he leans towards you. You are not welcome here. Now tell me what you want or leave. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care to speak to you, honestly. Certainly hope that isn't the case.
Can't do that. On it.
And I'm back. Sorry about that. Personal stuff got in the way and needed a real quick resolution. Let's see. Now, how do I get out of this damn place? Oh, that's right, I have to talk to this guy, annoyingly enough. Yes, yes. I need to get to Lithian's Crossing. Absolutely not. You must be crazy if you think I'm letting a disfavored sympathizer through to consort with my enemies. Who knows what plans you would make to undermine my authority? He crosses his arms over his chest. You have some nerve, Fatebinder. First you have me thrown from my home, now you want back in so you can come up with an even worse punishment. Ugh. God. Well, I'm not totally unreasonable, so we're not just going to straight out attack him right now. Lithian's Crossing. I may have to find an alternate route here, if such a thing is possible. We can't go in that way. You have to meet Graven Ashe at Iron Hearth. That is going to be my next objective. Seeing as this guy is being a stubborn prick, I will save trying to get into there for another time. Because I don't want to just outright attack if I can avoid it. Now, who are you? Oh, it's just a regular disfavored soldier. I wanted to make sure that wasn't someone with a name that we were supposed to speak to. Iron Walker. Halfway dead. Halfway is dead. Is that one of the Scarlet Chorus? The disfavored soldier chuckles with disdain at the Scarlet Chorus fighter. Consider it? Not for a second. We pick our soldiers from the elite northern families. We don't recruit from flies buzzing over a mass grave. Are the disfavored so narrow-minded? My gang's strength delivered us across half a dozen battles with a line of fallen enemies in our wake. Not many conscripts can say the same. The question is not a matter of your skill, but of your breeding, your training, your pedigree. Noticing you, the Iron Guard salutes. Hail. Graven Ashe, Fatebinder. Hail, Graven Ashe, Fatebinder. If I might take a moment of your time. Of course, what do you need? This person comes representing the Scarlet Chorus gang. What did you call yourselves again? The Grinning Bleeders. We have a long and storied reputation in the Scarlet Chorus ranks. Killers of the highest order, my gang. He puffs up his chest with pride. Before I was a boss here, I ran with the Broken Shits, Salty Nightmares, and Trap Gang. Everyone made a name for themselves during the war. Not for their ability to come up with proper names, though. That's for damn sure. And anyone can be a killer. How do we know you're not basically just some rabid, half-mad animal in human form? In any case, he's asking to join the Disfavored, which is out of the question. I've explained the numerous reasons why we can't allow it, but the wretch won't listen. Is that accurate? It is. We're not looking for special treatment, just a new beginning. As we're healthy, fit and combat ready, the ironclads should have no reason to refuse us. He sniffs, especially since they're low on numbers. That may be true, but it's no excuse to pollute our respectable ranks with your company. We're more than capable. Put any weapon in our hands or send us on any suicide mission. It'll be mercy compared to what we faced under the voices of Narat. If we joined up, the Disfavored wouldn't have to compromise their staunch northern morals. We would take the bloody work off their hands. Would you like for me to decide the matter for you? I will if you want me to. You must know Kairos' laws back to front, and I trust you know our traditions as well. If it peels this lamprey off my backside, I'll allow it. Aching for my gang, and we'll accept your judgment. We're eager to crack some Tearsman's skulls with Kairos' army again, no matter what color they wear. Very well, let me take your testimony first. Of course, I have nothing to hide. Why did you leave the Scarlet Chorus? Our old gang boss fell at the last battle of Vendrian's Well. We saw how the Disfavored operated and realized it was a chance for a better life. A longer one, too. Assertion happens every day in the Scarlet Chorus. I can tell you that we won't be missed. Why this interest in the Disfavored? Better training, better quarters, iron weapons. The Disfavored have everything we wanted out of joining the military. We want to serve Kairos to the best of our abilities. Is that asking too much? Old Ironclad here seems to think so. Their respect for command leaves something to be desired. I have to admit, I'm with Barrack on this. And you have to remember, Tiberius is a noble. He comes from a noble family, a northern noble family at that. So we're more inclined to see things from the Disfavor's perspective, and their view on how it takes proper breeding and heritage to make a good warrior. And we are to listen to the Scarlet Chorus. As much as these guys might be skilled warriors, they were members of the rabble, as we call the chorus. But just out of interest, why is it they can't join up, from your perspective? Where do I start? Not only does Graven Ashe hand-pick his Disfavored from the decorated northern stock, he takes a personal interest in our training and education. We are his sons and daughters. To accept anything less in our ranks would hold the very process in contempt. The only capacity they could serve would be manual labor, hauling wagons or digging latrines. But that's the work of slaves, not what they've come requesting. Okay, well, one thing's for sure, we're not going to ask for a bribe. But I am ready to make my ruling now. Good, whatever's fair, we're prepared to stand by it. Oh, what would we do? They abandoned their duties, and these are Scarlet Chorus. These are rabble. No one of value as far as we're concerned. They are members of the Scarlet Chorus. So if we let them go, they would probably randomly murder people. and cause more problems, so they're unreliable at best. You abandon your duties. Execution is the only recourse. What? Who said this was an option on the table? Tunon does not tolerate desertion from the ranks, and neither do I, I'm afraid. My thanks, Fatebinder. I'll make sure this derelict is handled appropriately. Apparently we gained wrath with Blade and Mark. I'm not sure why. Very well. Be sure that you do. Farewell. We're not going to say deal with the rest of the gang. I'm sure he knows that, and we don't have to remind him. And the facts he already knows. Skill increase, for whatever it's worth.
You see what I see?
Graven Ashe is waiting over here, so we were asked to meet with him, and we will do just that. Fatebinder, it's good of you to report in. These days it is difficult enough to judge friend from foe. I am pleased to recognize you as the former of the two. Ashe favors you with a curt nod. After what transpired at Vendrian's Well, the Disfavored must hold fast to our allies. You are here because of your support at the siege, but I don't mistake your confidence for devotion. The Scarlet Chorus would not have you. I hope you can convince me that I made the right choice. I'm afraid I'm a little skeptical in some ways. Serving me will engender trust, yada yada yada. What is it that you require? Well, how can I continue to assist the Disfavored? These are troubled times for all, none more so than the forces of Kairos. Our organized offense has splintered. Loyalties are challenged at every level of command, and much that we have built during the conquest crumbles under its own weight. We had thought the Vendrian Guard were the final death rattle of this region's defiance. We were wrong, and tears have risen up against Kairos, emboldened by their countrymen. And while the Disfavored labor to maintain order, that serpent, the voices of Narat, grows his army of lunatics and sellswords, preparing to lash out when we least suspect it. Now, our little exercise in defiance wasn't a total failure. I'll try to find some old comfort in that knowledge. Oh, Ebb, you might be a former traitor, but you are so funny. I just love how she's standing in front of essentially the commander of half of Kairos' military and can give him attitude. I just find that so hilarious. There can be no peace while the voices of Narat lives, and no order while the Scarlet Corps rampage across these lands. The elimination of chaos must be our first priority. Then we will have our time to govern the tiers as Kairos intended. And I depend upon your support against this scourge. First, you can tell me more about the uprising. I try not to bother myself with the details. These objectors will be dealt with and forgotten soon enough. I know of the Unbroken, a group of former stalwart miscreants that arose in the Black Grave, arming themselves with a misguided sense of national pride. Beyond them, the dissident elements of this fallen realm interest me little. So, what would you have me do? Our position of authority in the Blade Grave is far from secure. We need to establish ourselves in the region in order to cultivate our strength for the battle to come. As soon as I am confident in our chances, I will depart this realm and wipe the Corps' threat from the face of Taratus. I'm assuming Taratus is the name of the world. I'm not entirely certain. Like I've explained in the past, this is a blind Let's Play, and basically all I know is what I'm learning on camera, basically. The Unbroken, former daughters and sons of Stalwart, vex our efforts to secure this region. The Edict of Storms offers them cover. They slip past our patrols in the light of day, hiding their movements behind clouds of dust and debris. Iros casts this blight on the country to set an example, not to plague those of us little to the north. You must travel to Sentinel Stand and seek out Stratus Herodin. He is the last of the old Stalwart bloodline who called themselves regents. Put him to the sword, and end this edict once and for all. Why has no one killed Herodin yet, if he's the main bit of the edict? As he persists in crouching behind the walls of Sentinel Stand. With the Edict of Storms raging around the Citadel, no one has been able to enter or exit since the last year of the conquest. No bird or missive has left the wind wall either. The edict is all the proof we have that Herodin still lives. Why is he so important to the edict? He would neither surrender... Okay, I misclicked something there. Find the last regent, kill him, and this Edict of Storms, and staunch this seeping. Okay, here we go. He would neither surrender nor impel his soldiers to do so. Such Kairos decreed that storms would ravage his country until the regent was dead. Herodin was free to kill himself, of course. Is either too proud or too gutless for the task. Consider him dead. Find the last regent, kill him, end this Edict of Storms, and staunch this seeping wound of rebellion once and for all. The downfall of the Unbroken and the old regent will send a message throughout the tiers. Our rule is absolute, and dissidents will not be tolerated. Consider it done. There's one final matter to discuss. My daughter went missing in the second year of the conquest. I have reason to believe she is trapped in the fortress of Sentinel Stand. If you can, find Amelia, bring her home to me. Yes, I seem to recall Barrick mentioning this in one of our conversations. How do you know she's in Sentinel Stand? It's the one location in all of Stalwart we cannot reach. If her detachment of soldiers was taken captive, she would have been placed beyond my power, no doubt for the southern wretches to use for negotiation. His expression twists with distaste. And what makes you think she is still alive? We have traveled together through this fallen, corrupt land, and no doubt aware of the aegis I extend to my troops. It is the boon I grant my northerners for loyal service and devotion to our shared cause. As my army feels my guardianship, I am keenly aware of them in turn. Their concern, their pain, is my burden to carry as their leader. Amelia is alive. I have awoken at night in cold sweats, my bile rising with violence. What torment she suffers at the hands of those stalwart animals is a mystery. I only want her restored to heal in the company of the Legion. Well, I don't think we really have time to ask about her, and considering this is his daughter, he might take that the wrong way. As well as asking if she could have willingly abandoned her duties also would probably tempt Graven Ashe towards killing us on the spot. But if I find her, I'll ensure her safe return. That is all I ask. Amelia is but one soldier, and if I had the forces to dispatch, I would make her retrieval my highest priority. She is a commander of the highest renown and a paragon of northern values. Fatebinder, I offer my support on this mission. The Blade Grave is a place of memory. I left many cohorts buried among the ruins, and no small part of myself as well. Could you elaborate on that, Barrick? The matter is a sensitive one, but I fear to speak it in the company of the great general, though he doubtless knows it already. Barrick attempts to stand tall before Graven Ashe. Speak on, son of Barrickonen. Nothing I've seen you accomplish in the field has diminished you in my eyes. And I know my soldiers as well as I know myself. Ashe nods with approval. I lost countrymen by the hundreds in the last day of the Stalwart campaign, and for my troubles I became fused in this armor. The Blade Grave is the last place I ever felt human, and that is all I will say about it now. The last battle of Stalwart was a terrible time, perhaps most of all for you who survived. I mourn those we lost and recite their names often during the morning drills. Cannot restore their broken bodies to the north, but we can remember them as they were. Very well, Barrick. You clearly have much invested in this mission. Of course you can accompany me. I appreciate that, Fatebinder. Graven Ashe is attentive and understanding to each of his troops, and it pleases me to see his example in you. Kind of you to say, Barrick. It's no small comparison to make, clearly. And in you, Armored One, never forget that. I found you at the mere germination of your potential, and you have accomplished much in the ensuing years. So, thank you, General. Though it's impossible to tell through his helmet, you assume that Barrick is blushing. He would do, wouldn't he? Your map is already marked with the position of Sentinel's stand. It would take me 100 lifetimes to forget those old walls, or the day the edict shattered our advance. Let us be off, then. Questions for Graven Ashe can wait. Quest updated into the Maelstrom. Travel to Sentinel's stand. Let's see here. We'll leave this area and head to the next one. Sentinel's stand next. It's not far. 20 hours. Ambushed by a pack of beastmen. Her leader is an impressive specimen, her mane black as night and her body scarred from battle. Kills in shadow. Before you towers a massive creature of fur and flesh, her short black snout snuffling in the air.
Know this scent. Stench of blood, sweat battle. Iron and
The
death.
beast woman cocks her head to one
Smells like
side.
alpha.
Eyes
Smells
bright
of
with
strength.
curiosity and red as fresh blood.
Male.
Those eyes rove your body up and down, darkening with a sudden heat, with the look that a predator bestows its prey. Oh dear, oh dear. We've gained fear and loyalty.
Remember, human who fought back. human who killed Howling Maw should kill
Conquest
Alpha, who slew
decision.
Kith, who
The
stole
course of
from
attack
kills
by
and shadow.
wild animals. We help the Disfavored hunt and eliminate them. But the leader managed to escape us in the end. And I am going to be brutally honest here. I'm sorry about it, but casualties are part of war, and I was fighting a war. The purple lips peel back in a sneer.
Beast women do not grieve. Beast women do not whimper like prey, like newborn cubs. Like
You're
sneering
lying. You can
humans.
act tough, but you miss
Heavens
Howling
cannot
Maw.
change.
Anyone who's
Weak
close to
creatures
someone
suffer
would
in
miss them when they were lost. It's a fact of life. The beast woman scratches long curved claws
Strong hunter.
across the ridge of her snout. Her crimson eyes flicker with anger and an emotion you can't quite discern. Anguish, perhaps, as she glances to the ground. She huffs
Howling Maw
and
is
juts her
Earthblood
chin.
now. Is dead but not gone. Will not grieve. Have been stalking human centrail. Have ranged many more than 5 nights through tribe and human territories of Tyr's land.
Wow,
Hunting for human
a
court,
creature
fate
that's
bind.
basically
For
just
human who woke Horizon Rock,
like the
mountain
tyranny version
spire.
of a werewolf, from what we can tell. This one's kills in shadow here seems oddly intelligent, more so than you might expect, considering how they were during the conquest.
Have hunted hot high, cold low, wet dry. Traipsed far until paws bled, but always human who smelled of alpha evaded beast woman.
Okay,
To sleep
how should
through
we
shadows,
approach this?
Fast, fast, quick, without rest to catch delicious prey at last.
Not going to go for the foolish jests. I don't think we want to demand an introduction. Let me think. I'm not looking for conflict. I merely want to continue on my way. Perhaps. Could slap her, but I don't think so. Alright, yeah, we're not looking for conflict. I merely want to continue on my way.
Woman did not range so
She
far,
snarls.
chasing scent and tracks of Fatebinder, only to step aside and watch human leave Beast Woman behind.
Okay,
Nope, nope. Will not
okay,
move
time for a
from
little
way.
bit of tough love then. Thick muscles ripple and flex as the beast woman rises to her full height. She towers over you. 8+ feet of savage, rough-hewn strength. Her coat is matted and scarred. She spits a wad of blood and mucus at your feet. Charming. Oh dear.
Will kill. Will rip throat out. Will lash, twist, tear, and mangle.
I have a bad feeling about this. Yeah. Now we have to kill them. So you do that. Ebb, what have you got? Electric Jolt, I think. That's the one we want. Lantry can do one of them. And Tiberius.
By your Fear nothing. Fear
Quill Flurry. Striking Iron. Flurry of Blows.
nothing.
Thrust. Titan's Touch. Well, you do another thrust.
I got it.
Fear nothing. Swallowed by shadow.
Lantry, hit Tiberius with Restoring Touch. Barrack, you do that. And Ebb, I want you to Grave Strike.
Right.
Twice. Barrack, you keep at it with our friend over here. And Ebb, I want you to do your repelling blast attack. Actually, keep your distance a bit more.
I will aid you.
A lot of those are still healing. Tiberius, can you do that? Okay.
Will do.
Tiberius.
Take that.
Flurry of Blows. Barrack if you can. Ebb, I want you to hit him with an electric jolt. Well, him or her. It's not made too clear what the gender of these creatures
Will do.
So, slice. Arcane Missile. Restoring Touch. Keep our Fatebinder alive.
By your command.
Slice. Striking Iron Barrack. Ebb, you can do one of those. And down they go.
I have no other way.
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something.
Battered and bloody, the beast woman drops to all four and crouches low, belly rubbing the dirt as she ducks her head in a show of submission. You were saying something about how you were going to mangle me, correct? Why have you tracked me down? Why get in my way?
Yield! Kills and shadow yields to Fatebinder. No human called Fatebinder. Kairos breeds words on paper. Fatebinder binds worlds.
What would a beast woman know of
Makes
Tunan's
ground
fate
tremble,
binders?
Makes night cry, blood and fire.
She chuffs, darkly amused.
Human is not first Fatebinder. Kills in shadow has hunted. Tribes of Kairos fear Fatebinder. Human Alpha claimed Horizon Rock called Spire, and Archons did not kill
Okay,
Fatebinder.
so maybe you have heard of me.
Archons rolled over and whined, covetous. Kairos hunts human realms to extinction. Rules tribe of blood and ruin, starvation and death. Seeks to slaughter
Kills in
beast
shadow,
like prey.
spits a gob
But
of
beast
tawny
women are not
mucus
prey.
on the ground.
Are not flighty,
How charming.
evil-minded humans. Beast women are savage hunters, bred to fight Kirut, like Fatebinder who smells of alpha. Strong always kill weak, then grow weak. Or killed is migration of life. But kills in shadow is not weak now. Will not be weak for many long seasons.
She's obviously a
Join
skilled
Fatebinder
fighter,
and
and
survive Kairos'
with the
tribe.
kind of messes that we are likely to get into, we can use all the skilled fighters we can get. But we need to keep a close eye on her. So if you want to join me, it'll have to be as my beta.
Kills in shadow is not beta. But even alphas submit to stronger-willed primas. Many packs make a tribe. Is this not a thought humans also understand? Beast woman will follow Fatebinder.
Okay,
not
fine.
dominate. Unless
Beast woman huffs and turns to address her
begins
pack.
to smell weak. Kills in shadow will not shelter stone whelps anymore. Scamper and flee.
She emits a low menacing growl when
See
they
shadows
hesitate.
lurking, stalking behind. Barb cleft his leader now. Will not
Okay.
like if kills in shadow catches sight
But
or scent of
I like
stone
my current
mongrels
party
again.
makeup. So I think we need to get going.
I got it.
Off to Sentinel Stand now. Let's see what we find here. Yeah, from what you've told me, Barrick, it does not
Sentinel
sound
stand.
like what I'd call a pleasant
Still remember when the
experience.
edict struck this place.
Not in the slightest. But we are here for a reason. And we'll have to make our way through here. No other way about it. Ratovik. Scout straightens as you approach, squinting through the harsh wind. Are you the support Ashe sent out? Yes, I'm Tunan's Fatebinder. Glad to hear it. You can never be too careful out here. I'm half blind from this storm, and you agents of the court don't always stand out. No offense. We've been patrolling the outer walls, but there's no sign of the enemy. Either they know not to come here, or they're better at hiding than I credited. Damn rebels shift about like the winds, they do. Have you run into any Unbroken recently? More than a fortnight ago, but she dashed off right quick before we could knock arrows. They're a cautious lot, but cunning. Not even Kairos could have expected them to use the storm to their advantage. Can we enter the fortress, then? In these winds, I wouldn't venture to try if I had 1,000 shields to guard me. Come take a look, and you'll understand. I do not like the sound of that. Not even a little. But let's see what he means. Nothing has changed. This is the very storm that shattered the Unbroken and Disfavored alike. Thank you for bringing me here, Fatebinder. Eric regards the wind wall and the massive tornado around the inner keep, which is but a distant outline. Stratus Herodin, the last stalwart regent, cowers behind the walls of his castle, and we won't be able to reach him through this storm. This place brings back unpleasant memories. You were at Sentinel's stand during the war, then? Regrettably, the general's daughter and members of her cohort were captured in the second year of the war. By the third, we had tracked her to Sentinel's stand. We knew the edict was coming, but thought it worth the risks. The battle dragged on longer than it should have, and we got caught in the storm. He sighs, and a cascade of sand escapes his shoulder joints. That was the day I woke up encased in this bedamned rust bucket, and why this place brings to mind unfinished business. Tell me about the regents. This is the first I've heard of them. They were bureaucrats and diplomats, all drunk on their own self-importance. Stratus Herodin never impressed me, and the people of Stalwart revered the man. Cowardice must run in the regent bloodline. When the edict struck, Stratus hid in this castle and watched his country fall to pieces. An honorable man would have died for his people. Yes. Obviously, most of Kairos' empire doesn't have a very high opinion of the Tiers, if they're willing to casually do stuff like this. Seems the storm didn't leave much behind, though. A year of brutal weather will do that. Kairos' Edict of Storms devastated the once mighty realm of Stalwart, all but wiping it from the map. There isn't much left of the old country, save for the Unbroken and their stubborn pride. Well, I'm really only interested in one thing about this particular castle. How do we get into it if we can't get there through the storm? Couldn't say. The powers fighting over this realm must have some notion, otherwise they wouldn't squabble for control over this blasted wasteland. You should track down someone with answers. Do you hear that? Be on your guard, Fatebinder. Taking a cautious step back, Ebb signs a rune in the air. You catch an odd sound in the wind, a low moan hidden within a cacophony of swirling dirt and metal debris. The clouds of dust seem to close in upon you, and within them you see patches of glowing red. Oh. Again, I have a very bad feeling about this.
Another battle!
You attack there. Eric's already done a pretty good job against that one.
I'm starting to think we're bad at making friends.
Ahead. Do that. that one out. And Ebb, you do that, please.
Big cat,
Now, please get over here.
If I had kids, they'd be feeling that one.
Come on now. Now those two are ganging up on the land tree. Time to dress.
I'm fine. That's fine.
And Ebb,
I don't need
back
that
up
rib
a little.
described.
Take that!
As you wish.
Them.
Not a problem.
There we go.
I'm injured.
Hey! Nobody saw that, right?
Well, that's them taken care of. And James was a surprise.
Missed that from the record.
The Bane are gone. Their unnatural cries silence, leaving only the tornado of violence in your ears. As the dust clouds recede, you spot a crouched figure on the wall above. Speak
Fatebinder,
with the
look there,
Unbroken
atop the walls.
Scout.
We aren't alone.
Meaning we have to head up there. A soldier kneels behind the ruined parapets. You can tell by his raiment, old stalwart here, that he's an unbroken soldier. He peers at you with a mixture of caution and curiosity. You handle the Banes well enough, but what brings you to this forsaken place? He pauses, as recognition dawns in his eyes. You don't look like the typical rank and file of Kairos' army. You're no son of Stalwart either. He squints at your raiment and takes your measure. No, you're the Fatebinder who broke past the Vendrian guard. I think you'll find yonder wind wall a tougher nut to crack than the Apex Citadel. He chuckles. I'm here to end the Edict of Storms. Is that how it works? Kairos casts an edict and sends lackeys to the cleanup effort. In that case, I'm glad we're still independent of you Imperial dogs. I suggest you make like a storm and blow, because you're not getting inside this fortress. When you report back to your master, tell him that First Scout Janos sent you off with your tail tucked between your cheeks. What are the Bane doing here? Following some scent of magic. At least that would be the safest assumption. I have a hypothesis that, when gathered in large enough numbers, they'll communicate through song, albeit one so shrill we can't hear it. And I think I'm boring even me, so I'll shut up now. Don't you know anything? The Bane are drawn to Kairos' magic, like flies around a corpse. This whole region is polluted with the Overlord's reek. Nowhere more so than the wind wall before us. Wind yourself around their claws, Fatebinder. It's said that once the Bane have you in their clutches, they'll never let go. What can you tell me of the Regents? The Regents were a royal family. They governed Old Stalwart, protected our borders, and rallied our armies when in need. Kyrus's butchers left but one Regent standing, and he's as useless as a mustache on a mallet. I like that saying. I don't know why, but that's just so bizarre. I can't help but like it. What do you know about the Edict of Storms? Everyone I've talked to on the subject has been shockingly vague. The storm will continue for as long as Stratus Harrowden lives. I wager that we're both keen on stopping the old coward's heart, though I'll do everything in my power to make sure you never get any closer to Sentinel Stand than this. Why do the Unbroken hate Harrowden? He's a spineless old man who hides behind his soldiers and doesn't possess any of the values he hammers into others. Oh, sorry, I was talking about Graven Ashe. Janos flashes you a crude sign with his fingers. I have a feeling Barrack's not going to take that particularly well. Would that I had the strength to tear down this wall and kill him myself. Suckers bet that. Harrowden is a relic of the past, and we're looking to the future. We don't have any hope of squirming out from under Kyrus's thumb while the old regent enjoys his twilight years sipping dusty wine and hiding from the war. Do you know anything about Ashe's daughter? Sorry, I didn't catch that. I'm not too good with names, and your voice isn't carrying over the winds. He flashes you a wide, knowing grin. Of course. Of fucking course. Impertinent scum! Climb over that wall and let me beat the truth out of you. Okay, let's get to the crux of the matter, though I don't know why we're bothering to ask a rebel traitor this. How can I get inside Sentinel Stand? Throwing yourself into the wind wall comes to mind. Take a few steps inside and see how long it takes for the wind to strip you down to a skeleton. I'd love to stay and chat, but it's high time that I reported on your presence to my superior officer. He's seeing you, Fatebinder, though you might not see me. He ducks behind the parapet and vanishes into the obscurity of the storm. Damn that vain southern wretch, Radovic spits. The Unbroken know this territory better than us and take every opportunity to flaunt it. What is that scout even doing here? Look, there's a corpse on the wall. Might bear a closer look. I can't tell from here, but I think it's wearing Disfavored colors. Investigate the remains of the soldier. I can do that. Ashe's daughter's battle standard and stone shield gloves. The body has been here a long time, and the storm has long since eroded skin from bones. Tucked away in one of the gauntlets, you find the scrap of a distinctive battle standard. That's the general's family crest. Amelia and her unit must have come through here. Seems a lifetime ago that we marched on Sentinel Stand. At least this proves we were on the right track. So close, too. The girl might still be alive out there. He looks to the wind wall with regret. Tell me about her. No one seems to want to say a thing, and I can't really ask Ashe about it, because I gather it's a bit of a sensitive topic for him. She was always headstrong, took after her father in that regard. He also demanded that the Legion treat her like an ordinary soldier whenever possible, though in truth she was far from ordinary. She's not an Archon like Ashe, but she's vicious with a sword and good with her troops. I sparred with her outside the bastard city, and almost lost an ear for my troubles. What makes you think she's still alive? I mean, it's been a long time since Conquest, a couple of years at least. Why do you think she's still around? Ashe's protection would keep her standing long after anyone else would have fallen. I don't like to think what she's endured in her imprisonment, but we can help put it behind her. The Disfavored are a hardy folk. A hammer to the skull, a sword to the gut, an arrow to the spine. We don't go down easily. We can march for days without cracking a yawn. Of little else I could guarantee, but I know this much. The daughter of Graven Ashe can outlast any prison. Well, if you're that confident she's alive, I'll take your word for it. So, what are the next steps? Ashe bade us to bring order to the region, but we need to learn as much about his daughter as possible. I heard tell of an unbroken fort called Duskwatch. One of our soldiers has been imprisoned there, and it's around the time Amelia's unit went missing. I'll wager anything that if we shatter the Unbroken defensive, we'll learn more about her whereabouts. Barrack is correct. They took Callius captive, supposedly one of the stone shields who traveled with Amelia. You ought to make contact with Osmios, the commander in charge of taking Duskwatch. I'm sure he would appreciate the aid of a Fatebinder. You go on ahead. I need to double back and relay this to Ashe. That should raise the old man's spirits, eh? No arguments here. It certainly should. Meet with Osmios at Duskwatch. We know our next destination. We'll be heading to Duskwatch. Let's get going. Before more of these rebels ambush and almost kill us or something. Alright. Before I head out, I'm going to save the game. Just in case we get ambushed on the way to our destination and get killed that way. 12 hours. No ambush, fortunately. I am pleasantly surprised by this outcome. I almost expected there to be a unit of whatever these rebels are called. I'm not even remembering. I almost expected a unit of Unbroken to be waiting there to ambush and try to kill us, with how things have been going lately, so with the Civil War, which in itself is not particularly good news. As you can see, Duskwatch is close to the likes of us, else I would be taking shelter from the storm, and Disfavored scout struggles to recall your features, and his eyes open in dawning comprehension. Ah, the Fatebinder of Tunon. Commander Osmios told me I should look out for company, but I didn't expect anyone from this high up the food chain. He beckons for you to follow. Due east of here, our unit gathers its strength to take Duskwatch. Follow me. He glances up at Barrack in sudden bewilderment. You're the biggest stone shield I've ever seen. How do you run around in armor like that? With great effort, I must keep moving to stave off the rust. My calves have bulged to the size of piglets. The sentry shakes his head to dispel the thought, and focuses back on you. What's the story with Duskwatch, anyways? Throughout the war, the Unbroken kept this fort locked up against Kairos' forces. It might not be much to look at. The folks behind those walls are a spirited bunch. Not even the storm has broken their nerve. I know what the commander would say, that a southerner is too ignorant to wipe the grit from his eyes. That the Unbroken have been using the storm against us, and, well, you have to respect that. Yeah, you do. They might be dirty, uncivilized southerners from Tiberius' perspective, but these Unbroken, and the whole realm of Stalwart, to be honest, they're excellent fighters, that's for sure, and you can't deny that. Tell me about Osmos. He's been part of the Stalwart campaign since it began, so he knows this country like the inside of his helmet, which is damn impressive when you consider how the edict shook everything up. I'd follow him anywhere, including the Eye of a Storm, it seems. So what is your mission here? We do what Kyrus's Iron Legion does best. We claim the fort, and anyone who doesn't cooperate gets put to the sword. Our commander likes to keep the orders simple. Osmios mentioned something about a northern prisoner being behind the walls of Duskwatch. I couldn't tell you anything else. I was assigned to scouting duty, not rescue duty. Yeah, it's probably a good thing they're keeping the orders simple. That way things don't get convoluted and you can keep what you have to do straight without too much effort. Let's get going. We're wasting time as it is. And that's Osmios. And Disfavored commander wears his armor over broad shoulders and stands as if he knows it all too well. Graven Ashe protects. Osmios, 32nd Legion. A pleasure to have you join us. Even this close to Iron Hearth, we need all the help we can get. He frowns at Barrack. Still trapped, I see. How are you faring under there, soldier? It is challenging enough to fit food through this stubborn iron bucket. I've gained several hundred pounds of iron and muscle over the last year, and I smell like a mass grave left open to the sun. But I am, for the moment, upright. He nods to Osmios. Honestly, I don't want to think about any of what he's just said. It's sounding even more disgusting. As you might be able to tell, this fort is a tough nut to crack. The Unbroken aren't too keen on surrendering, and our preliminary attacks have yet to break through. One of our soldiers is chained inside, Callius, and will go to any length to get him out, and glances at the fort with longing. What's your business at Duskwatch? I expect you've come to aid in the war effort, but when it comes to Tunon's agents, it pays to not to make assumptions. We're not a guild apprentice or a soldier. And I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm here to help the Disfavored put an end to the Unbroken, because that is why we're there. Let's not bullshit around things. His interest piques. Is that right? Well, welcome aboard. We're not without defenses, but we could always use an extra body to support the phalanx. The Unbroken are trying to enter Sentinel's stand, and we mean to put a stop to it. Day and night my forces have battered themselves against those walls, but even the tireless Disfavored have their limits. I'm afraid we're out of commission until Ashe's Aegis takes the edge off and knits our wounds closed. You look lively enough. What say you help us get Callius out and soften up the Unbroken for execution? Count me in. The Unbroken will shatter against our offensive. Before you get too excited, your job is to infiltrate the base under cover of night and extract the prisoner. Don't let anyone spot you. If you alert them while inside, you'll be on your own. Callius is a good soldier, and he's been in Unbroken hands longer than anyone should have to endure. You might think him just another stone shield, but Ashe holds the lives of his troops in high regard, so we should consider the recovery effort as important as saving Duskwatch itself. There are a few structural weaknesses along the perimeter, which should help you sneak in. After releasing Callius, open the front gate from the inside. Flashes you a toothy grin. We'll flood the keep and make short work of Agathon's soldiers. Are you ready to begin? What do you know of the Unbroken? A gang of tearsmen with delusions of honor. I'm sure they wish their ranks were as renowned and elite as the Disfavored. Unfortunately for them, the best they'll ever do is die by our hand or surrender and face hard labor. They rally around someone named Mattias, a low-born, stalwart captain of some moderate success. He smiles bemusedly. Strangely enough, there's no love lost between the Unbroken and the old establishment, a hereditary bloodline known as the Regents. There's not much division in their ranks. I don't know how they hope to succeed. Well, how has Duskwatch even, stood this long in defiance of your troops? I would have thought it would have fallen long before now. He glances to his left and right with a frown. I hate to question the great general or his command, but we're overworked and undermanned. There won't be any additional supplies coming our way until the fort is in our hands, and the Unbroken set up their defenses with a long siege in mind. During the conquest, we pushed through the stalwart defenders like they were old hedgerows. But these Unbroken are a breed apart from their countrymen. In losing the war, all of a sudden they have something to rally behind. I don't want to say that we underestimated them, but he shrugs and trails off. Well, that's all the information we really have time to ask them about, and it doesn't really matter if he has that information. We need to take this fort regardless. I'm ready. Duskwatch is all but ours. Eager, are we? Good. Osmios pats your shoulder. Make your move as soon as night falls. Remember to stay out of sight, and go for Callias. We'll wait for you to open the gates from inside, but we can't help you until that happens. Good hunting. Okay. Time for us to get started with this. And it is night now. So it's time for us to head out. Duskwatch Fort. Taking all of that. Whatever that is.
Interesting.
Something there to climb over the wall and get in.
Can't do that.
I'm going to try to search around and see about alternate routes. But we're also going to save the game. Actually, I think this is a good place to end this recording session. So, this has been DarkPhoenix Ninja 92. You've been watching my Let's Play of Tyranny. Thank you very much for watching, and next time we will be breaking into this fort in order to rescue Callias. That's his name. See you then, folks. See you then.